What's up, guys? So, I have some pictures. So, those are the stairs. This is where I started. Got a little sandbox for the kids, my grill, little patio. These are the stairs. All right. And then it goes deeper that way. So, I had to peel little by little this cover off. And I just got the pump started. Just all right. That's not the camera view that I want. See, I need a haircut. COVID kind of sucks. Let's get back to it. There we go. Okay, so I can jump it back and forth. All right. So there's the pool. This is my pump. You got a little bit of a leak at the bottom. Normally, you're gonna have these problems considering it's been sitting all winter, and the seals get dried up. So that's the pump itself. This is the filter system. Of course, I had to let air out. So this ring pulls off. This cap comes off. All right, this is a little breather valve to let air out. So you got to pull it off, make sure your filter's in there good. Put it back on, make sure it's good and tight. This is the switch to turn it on. Make sure that this cap is sealed. There's another filter in here. So you're going to start it up, and you're going to want to relieve a little bit of air out of this breather valve, just so that it's not pushing water into a cavity full of air. Let a little air out so it can continue pushing the water through the tubes. Just get it started going. It stinks really bad, like really bad. And this is a pool that I've taken very good care of, all right? So this is what my pool looks like. It's been covered, all right? It's green. It smells like pond water. It's been covered for before algae could grow. Cold enough weather that algae shouldn't have grown. It doesn't work that way. We don't live in a perfect world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 bags of shop. All right, now if you go and you call a pool dealer, they're going to give you all kinds of different things. You need this, you need that. The first time I did this, it actually looked a lot like that. It had been sitting for 2 years untouched. Covered, but 2 years untouched, okay? And it cost me $2,000 in 2 months to find out that that didn't help anything. Okay, her mother locked me out. Well, why'd you lock the door?
Christ.
Why would you lock the door?
Because I always lock it. I lock everything.
All right, so just excuse me, getting a pair of scissors. And you always want to make sure your kids cannot get to your pool. It's very dangerous. Believe me, even with the cover is actually more deceiving because she'd run up and stop and look at it. But with the cover on, she just hauls ass and tries to run right across it. It's not safe. So what you're going to want to do, now this has a vinyl liner. They say don't put shock. You need to use Chlorbright, which is a very mild type of chlorine that's made for these types of liners. Now with a regular cement liner, you wouldn't have this concern. So I'm going to show you how to very carefully put this shock, which is basically straight up chlorine, so that you don't burn up your liner too much. Now it doesn't really make a difference because the liner does end up showing some wrinkles. So here we go. Here it is. Now it's hard for me to do this while I'm trying to video it at the same time. So it's not as going to be, and you can smell that chlorine strong. So what I want to do is spread it out. So it's not going to pile up anywhere. Now, eventually it's all going to circulate through the system, of course. But what I want, and see a clump just went down in there, and that's not good. That's not what you want. You don't want any clumps. You don't want the chlorine to stop anywhere. So the first thing I'm going to do is spread out 2 chlorine shocks called Power Powder Plus. Very common. All right, and I want to put it anywhere that the algae is prominent. Well, when you're first starting, it's going to be everywhere. So give me a second while I cut this other bag. What I usually do for Easier, not having to worry about cleanup, is I'll cut it some way, but not all the way. And I'll just walk it down. Now you don't have to do this all at once, but initially this is what you need to do. Now, what they do sell you, alkalinity up, is something that helps the chlorine live longer and work more effectively. So there are some chemicals that are important to what you're trying to do. Okay, so I'm not trying to say that don't listen to anything the pool guy says, but most cases they're just selling you everything they can sell you, and not all of it's going to help. So I have two more. You definitely need at least 4 for the initial shock. All right, for this is like a 18,000 gallons, I believe it is. So I've got the first 2 going in, getting started. Now with the pump going, it's rotating the water, right? But that doesn't help if there's no filter, okay? Now, the filter that I showed you that's in the pump itself, a filter that's designed to catch little tiny fragments. It's more or less for the big stuff, just like a skimmer, which I'll show you my skimmer right now, actually. So what I'm getting ready to do is put some of the diametric earth, or however you say it. So that's my skimmer right now. You just reach in, you grab your little line and pull it out. But then you don't have that major screen that's catching all them leaves and stuff. So then it leaves it to the second line of defense. Now, with that, I'm going to go ahead. See, my hands are all nasty. I'm going to go ahead, set my scissors down, let y'all get a close-up of my hand. And I'm going to get my, how do we say it? Diatomaceous earth. Alright? So this is what you use. If you don't have a salt water or a sand style filter. Look, there's leaves in here. It's been a long winter. Alright, so roughly 5 pounds or less for the 18,000 gallon pump with the style that I have. So I dump one. This is a pound each. So what I'm going to do, because it's only the beginning of the year, I'm not using the 5, because all it's going to do is catch major amounts of microscopic debris. So I'm going to put 3 in. And then I'm going to let her set and circulate. All right? So the water is going to... See, that's such a tiny, microscopic, tiny little amount. This mineral that is called what is it? Diatomaceous earth. It's a very tiny mineral. So what it'll do is it'll suck right on through this filter and then get caught up in the filter, the actual real filter that's inside of the pump. So what you want to have handy is your hose, so you can help get it spread around, get it off your hands, what have you. Let's get another roll off of there. All right, so I go ahead and I just spray off the existing, because it'll all get caught up. There's a drain in the bottom over there. All right, so there's 2 drains in this pool, one of which is the skimmer and one of which is the bottom feeding drain. So this is how you get it started. See how ugly this pool is? It's already starting to clear up. See them clearer spots? All right, see, the reason it's jetting out that way is because there's a jet right there. All right, so it's spreading that chlorine. So it won't be long. See over there where the sun really hits? It's lighter. The chlorine actually dies in the sun. So the less sun, the better. But I didn't put it all at once. And actually, the Chlorbright has a stabilizer in it, so it's good to have both, especially with a vinyl liner. If you're going to make the choice to roll the dice with actual shock, look, you can see there's just a little bit left in the bottom there. Um, if you're going to roll the dice and use an actual shock, you still want Chlorbright because it has a stabilizer, which helps hold that chlorine consistency that you're adding to it. Alright? It doesn't really matter if I get debris in there or not, because it's all coming out. That's what this whole process is about. So, what I'm trying to do now is just get her started. I gotta get my micro filter set up, and I gotta get chlorine running through the system, start killing everything, and as it dies, it gets caught in the micro filter. Alright? So, the key is when it's winter time, it's time to close it correctly. Close it and set up so that you can start up easy. Alright? So you don't want to leave water too high above where your jet is, because you will end up with bursting pipes. Now, the pipelines on this pool particularly are below freezing level, especially considering that around here you're only getting, maybe 20 degrees, something like that usually. Rarely is it ever in the negative. So that's what you want to watch for, is know what the low temperatures you can get are. Alright, and then that's how you know what the biggest concerns are regarding how much water level you're supposed to leave for wintertime. With that said, come fall, we know that leaves fall. I have 4 huge trees in front of this house. Alright, so I close up my pool before October, before, when we're getting into September, before I'm going to end up having to go and net a whole bunch of leaves that take me into dark, and then not have time to cover the pool, and then end up with that whole amount of leaves all over again. So what I want to do is catch it before I start having a bunch of leaves start falling in it, because I want this as clear as can be before I cover it. Number one. Number two, I want the water stable and clean before I cover it. That way, there is less of a chance that anything can sneak in, less of a chance that anything will grow. Now, as you can see, I did that, but I still ended up with this mess. All right, and that's my cover there. I have a very nice cover. This is what got under the cover, and this is what happened to the water, and this is the cleaner version. So you saw earlier how dark it looked, like a pond, and this was well taken care of, well maintained. And you can see the stairs now. So tomorrow, maybe even later today, I'll show a video of how it's changing. But you can see where things are starting to die. And as it dies, it's going to rotate in the water and cycle, go through the drains, go through the skimmer, and the small particles will get caught up in the pump over there in the diatomaceous earth, and bigger particles will get caught in the skimmer. So what you want to do is constantly watch these skimmers, watch these bigger screens, clean them out. So this is what I'll do. I'll grab my skimmer here, and I'll take it over and chuck it over the fence. Get that cleared out, because there's much more you see floating across the top there for that skimmer to catch. All right, so here I am. Just shake it out. You can use your hose and spray it out. There's a little bit of stuff in there, but that's not going to stop it from the major debris still to come. Now, during the hotter months when I'm not actually cleaning the pool, I'm just maintaining it, I am going to want to make sure that I do a better job of cleaning my screens, skimmer, etc. And then that diatomaceous earth is white now. It's already green and brown right now. All right, so as this stuff dies, it gets caught up in there. All right, you have to learn your pool. You have to learn your pump. You have to learn your pool. You have to gauge how often you should. Now, I went through. I mean, that bag costs like $30. I used to go through those in a day, maybe even more than one in a day. All right, so I didn't know what I was doing when I was doing it the first time around. But the bottom line is all it's going to do is slow down the travel of the water. That microscopic stuff that diatomaceous filter is catching is only going to slow down the fuel, the pressure of the water, but it's still not going to get through it. All right. So the only time you want to decide to take and empty out your filter, and I'll show you when it comes time, which it will be this evening. I'll do a video and show you what I do to clean the filter. And that's when the water starts slowing down too much. You'll see a lot of bubbles at top. Now, of course, you're going to see them now. All right. But you'll see where the water pressure slows down and there's lots of bubbles with very slow water pressure. That's when you know that your filter is starting to clog up. Well, when that's the case, you need to go ahead and change it because it's no longer circulating enough to make it worth keeping the same filter in. All right, so as simply put as I can, you have to learn your pool. You have to learn your pump. You have to, take information from your pool guys, but still, simply put, is all you need is chlorine shock. You need a little bit of alkalinity, and what's the other thing called? You want to have some chlorine tablets too. Alkalinity up. There's another thing that's used for that. Then I have the muriatic acid. That works good. Green to clean. That helps in the initial startup. The muriatic acid is more or less to help with the chemical level to help the cleaning perform better. And the soda ash. Soda ash works with the alkalinity up. It helps stabilize. So all of them work together to stabilize their levels to perform their job. So you need to understand the size of your pool so you know how much water you're dealing with and decide what the dosage should be. Okay? So what I'll try and do is give you some step-by-steps and help you out to master how to do this at a low cost and great efficiency. Now I'm going to go back inside to my angry old lady. Thanks for watching.